morning, Boston. Betsy Ross here with the latest from Channel 13 News. Back in England, King George III has successfully passed both the Sugar and Currency Act. Along with these acts, the Stamp Act is scheduled to go into effect on November 1st. Also, Parliament has now passed a measure to better enforce the British trade laws in the colonies. Now let's go to John Adams live with some citizens outraged by these effects. John?
No taxation without representation.
Thank you, Betsy. I'm here at the live protest led by James Otis in response to King George's new laws. As you can see, James isn't alone in this fight. James!
Yes.
James, what was your inspiration for this protest?
No taxation without representation.
I see. And why do you feel these taxations aren't fair without representation for the colonies?
Well, how does England know what's best for us? They are 1,000 miles away from us. We should take action and have representation in Parliament.
Thank you, James. Back to you, Betsy.
Thank you, John. However, here at Channel 13, we like to get both sides of the story, so we sent our very own Benjamin Franklin to ask King George his thoughts on the situation. To you, Benny.
I'm here with King George III to ask him a few questions about the acts. Your Majesty, do you really think these were necessary?
Yeah, I do. See, listen, I ain't no bad guy or nothing. It's just, like, those colonies, they part of us. Like, they is us, and they need to hold their own and pay for their stuff.
And would you say that maybe there are unfair since they don't have any representation in Parliament?
No. Okay, listen. They is us. They is part of us. So they don't need no special business up in us. Like, okay, so we was up having beef with those French and those Indian guys, and they need to help pay for that because, like I said, they is us.
What about the trade laws, the Currency Act, the Stamp Act?
Okay, yeah, those were all necessary too, cause like their money, that wasn't worth nothing, and like we have our homeboys over there up with them, and our homeboys, they ain't cheap, they gotta pay for that too.
Worthless to you, or them? Hold on, I'm just receiving word of breaking news. Back in the colonies, apparently the Stamp Act Congress has met up in New York City with representatives from 9 of the colonies and are creating a resolution to revoke the Stamp Act and the Acts of 1764. Many colonists are boycotting, and it seems violence has broken out in response to the Courting Act. Let's go live to Samuel Adams, who's there on the scene. Sam?
British in my house! It's no surprise the colonists are completely outraged by the Courting Acts here in New York. If you ask me, I wouldn't want to keep soldiers in my home and feed them either.
And they like the color
but it has resulted in conflict among the colonists and British soldiers. It's very tense over here, Ben.
Revolution!
You might want to warn the king of the colonists' unhappiness with all these new colonial laws. It seems as though some want a revolution.
Wow, you can really start to tell how fed up the colonists are. It makes you start to think, what's so bad about a revolution? Meanwhile, back in Virginia, the annual fashion show is taking place. Here's a small clip of the event. As you can see, the British are at a real disadvantage here in those hideous bright red coats. I think it would totally suck to wear that around town, don't you? Can you say totally obvious? Up next, we have the colonists in their usual attire. With this chic camouflage look, you can hide from just about anyone. Not only is this look totally awesome, but has inspired a whole new line of clothing called guerrilla warfare. However, it's only sold right here in the colonies, so if you're totally needing to break free from your old self, come try this look on. This just in. Today, March 5th, 1770, British troops have murdered 5 colonists and injured another 6 after being harassed in what people are now calling the Boston Massacre. The captain of the British soldiers, Thomas Preston, and 8 of his men have been arrested and charged with murder for the crime. It has caused yet another rift between Britain and the colonies. How much more are the colonists willing to take before they start a full-blown revolution? Sam Adams has called a town meeting to discuss the colonies' rights to self-rule. Meanwhile, the Virginia House of Burgesses appoints an 11-member committee to talk to the other colonies about their complaints against the British. Members of that committee include Thomas Jefferson, Patrick Henry, and Richard Henry Lee. We have our very own Samuel Adams covering sports today. Let's take it to you, Sam.
Thank you, Betsy. About 175 Bostonians have gathered here today, December 16, 1773, for the town's T-ball tournament. They came dressed in the colors of the Mohawk Indians. The colonial activists won this game with an end of score of 342 points. Some say that T-ball is a pointless sport, but hey, let's see how many full barrels of tea you can dump into the ocean while the time is running down. The opposing team, the East India Companies, were quite upset with their loss. Here's some footage of the event.
Hello and welcome to the annual T-ball tournament.
Person!
My name's Tiffany, and I'm going to throw farther than all of you.
Hey, you guys can call me Papi Chulo. Yeah!
Alright. Ready to watch a real pro do this? Woohoo!
We weren't too surprised to see Coach Parliament, head coach of the team, throwing a tantrum after their loss. He proposes to stop all games against the colonies until he gets a payback. Until then, I'm Samuel Adams, and good night.
It is a good night indeed as we carry on to our next matter of business, the formation of the local militia units. It's no surprise that John Hancock and Joseph Warren have begun defense preparations for a state of war. The revolution is coming, folks, and I hope you have your patriotism locked up tight because we're going to need it. Alright, so we got Massachusetts.
You didn't say weather.
Right, it's the weather, BTW. We got Massachusetts right there. We got Boston, kind of located in there. It's kind of cloudy
And
up
windy.
and windy up in Lexington and Concord because of the war.
And there's Boston Tea Party.
That's up in Boston.
Not a very good day for picnicking.
We got Rhode Island's kind of small.
Yeah, where is it? Yeah, it's right there.
It's kind of tiny. We'll skip right
I
out.
think it might be a little sunny there.
And then New York.
Oh, New York, yeah.
New York's a big one. It's where most of the conferences were held. We got, I don't really know anything cool about Pennsylvania, but we got Pennsylvania out there. Virginia, all these ones.
And it's pretty much warm down here because it's down there.
Yeah, we got Virginia, the Carolinas, Georgia. If y'all want to see the ocean, we got
Atlantic Ocean.
Ocean.
Oh, compass.
Gotta know your directions. Look how cute they are.
I forgot Connecticut.
Our little,
Connecticut.
cool. Look how cute our little 13 colonies are. They were cute. I think they're cute.
This is where it all began.
This just in, Massachusetts Governor Gage has been ordered to suppress this open rebellion among the colonists by all necessary force. He has ordered 700 soldiers to Concord to destroy our weapons. We have Paul Revere live on the scene.
It's happened, Betsy. The British are coming, and they're coming by land. We've just warned all the colonists about this. It's now dawn on April 19, 1775, and we're going to have this revolution on tape as the British are coming and the colonists are all armed up. That's it. The first shot heard around the world. That's it. The colonists have won. We have gained our independence. Back to you, Betsy.
Thank you, Paul. The fighting has continued since, as Paul stated earlier, the shot heard round the world. I have faith in General George Washington to lead our troops to victory. In other news, Thomas Paine has published his very own book entitled Common Sense. This 50-page pamphlet very much encourages our colony's independence. Great book, let me tell you. So it's no wonder that it's now the best-selling book in all the colonies. Meanwhile, in the Revolution, Spain and France have become our allies. Also, each of the 13 colonies have been ordered to form local governments, and a Congress has been appointed to write a formal Declaration of Independence from Britain. We have Thomas Jefferson, the main author of the Declaration, here with us today. Hello, Thomas.
Hello, Betsy. Thank you for having me here today.
Of course, we're glad to have you here. Now, can you tell me exactly what this Declaration is and what it will do for us colonies?
Well, you see, Betsy, all it really is just saying is that we're telling Britain, hey, we don't need you, we can handle ourselves, and we are, from now on, an independent country. along with how we will govern ourselves once we establish that independence.
I see. And was it difficult for you to come up with all this? I mean, sit down and write it. Our country, the future of these colonies depends on it.
It's funny you should ask that, because in all honesty, it took me no more than one day to complete the very first draft. Of course, that wasn't the final draft, and there were many changes made. But yes, one day for the final draft. And it was finally signed by the whole Congress, including the Founding Fathers, on July 4th, 1776.
Thank you, Thomas. It's been great having you. It seems that in an attempt at peace, a conference is being held with the British Admiral Richard Howe and the colonial representatives John Adams and Benjamin Franklin to discuss the situation. However, the conference has failed due to Howe's demand that the Declaration of Independence be revoked. And I'm just receiving news. George Washington has led us to victory against the British troops. Let's see what he has to say.
George, you've just won the Revolutionary War, and we are no longer under Britain's control. Tell me, how did you do this?
You know, I just gave it my all. Had dedication, loyalty, and most importantly, a passion to win this thing. And as of this day, April 11th, 1783, the war is over. And I couldn't have done it without the help of these great men back here. They stood by me even after all of our losses. And it's because of these men back here that your children and their children's children, they won't be British. We will all be Americans. Woo!
Get it. Go, Josh. Hey, Tiffany.
Hey!
Hey.
Party!
Hey, Josh.
Hey, 4th of July!
It's the 4th of July!
It's the what?
4th of July?
I'm sorry, was that the 4th of July?
Yes!
4th of July it is!
Woo! Alright, and Josh, how do you feel about the 4th of July?
It's great. We got our freedom.
And Tiffany, how do you feel about the 4th of July?
I feel good about this, and we should all party every day like this.
Yeah, just carefully, very carefully.
And don't get too
And
drunk.
yeah, not too drunk. Don't get drunk at all. That's bad. That's really bad.
Don't take a drive, guys. All right?
Yeah,
It's
eat
bad.
cupcakes when you go to parties, and that's it. And juice, lots of juice. So, 4th of July is pretty cool, I think, because that's, our fathers signed the Declaration of Independence on 4th of July. And what did that mean for the colonies, Tiff?
It means we're Americans, right?
Josh, what does that mean for the colonies?
We are Americans.
Haha, we are Americans.
And we have freedom.
I like freedom.
Yeah.
And I like the 4th of July. And you should like it too. And Josh, do you have anything else to say? Last comments?
Go follow me on Twitter and add me on Facebook.
Tiffany, any
Nothing
last?
at all. Just no.
Okay, bye.
Well, there you have it, folks. We are now an independent, strong nation. We're no longer babysat or controlled by Britain. Let's show the world just how strong we are. I'm Betsy Ross for Channel 13 News. Thank you, and good night.
Skipper, and I be swagging all day, and I be swagging all day. They call me Skipper, 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 and I be swagging all day, and I be swagging all day. They call me Kujan, Kujan, Kujan.